In this segment, I'm going to give a brief overview of scoring the victim injury factor. Detailed instructions for scoring victim injury begin on page 18 of the General Instructions section of your Sentencing Guidelines Manual. There are 4 different types of injuries that you will find in the victim injury factors on the various guidelines worksheets. They range from threatened to emotional to physical or serious physical injury, all the way to life-threatening injury. Threatened injury is scored when the victim feels threatened or intimidated, and we score threatened injury based on the victim's perspective. Emotional injury is scored when, as a result of the offense, the victim received counseling by a licensed professional. This includes licensed mental health professionals, school counselors, and clergy. But in order to score emotional injury, it must be verified by someone other than the victim or a family member. Physical or serious physical injury is scored when, as a result of the offense, the victim received an injury that is non-life-threatening, or there was no permanent impairment or loss of an organ or a limb. Examples here would include a scratch or a bruise, a broken bone, even surgery to remove a bullet. The victim could also be hospitalized as a result of the injuries, but as long as there's no permanent impairment or loss of an organ or a limb, we're going to assign points for physical or serious physical injury. Now, for sexual assault offenses, the medical examination required by law enforcement agencies for investigative purposes is not by itself scored. However, if there's any injury documented in that medical examination, we would score that injury. Life-threatening injury is scored when the injury involved a substantial risk of death, a permanent physical disability, or death. This includes loss or major impairment of an organ or a limb. For example, if as a result of the offense, the victim was left completely blind or they had to have a limb amputated, points would be assigned for life-threatening injury. Now, injuries where the victim could have died without extensive intervention of medical treatment, we would also score points for life-threatening injury. And an example here would be surgery performed to reduce swelling in the brain, or if CPR was performed to revive the victim. Here we would assign points for life-threatening injury. Now, if as a result of the sexual assault, the victim became HIV positive or pregnant, we would also assign points for life-threatened injury. If we have multiple victims, we score the factor for the victim that received the most serious injury. We score victim injury for all offenses at conviction, and it's scored if anyone is injured during any offense at conviction. So in summary, we score this factor if anyone was injured during the commission of any offense in the sentencing event, and we score any injury as documented in any official report. So what type of injury is scored when the victim becomes pregnant as a result of a sexual assault? For the answer, text injury to 56512. And as always, if you have any questions about scoring the victim injury factor or any other factor on the sentencing guidelines worksheets, feel free to call or text us, and staff at the Commission will be happy to assist you.